Good morning. Good morning. It is April 8th, 2026, the first day of a ceasefire that already was broken over there in the Middle East. And solar wind is like 388. It's not even happening, right? Proton density is at 2. We have just a C1 and a C5 flare. A meteor shower happened on the moon. If you're looking for our story about Artemis astronauts seeing meteor showers on the moon, I can send you that link. And while flying behind the moon, the crew watched 6 meteors slam into the lunar surface and explode. An unexpected display that surprised the astronauts and delighted scientists on the Earth. Right now, NASA is checking into if the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, LRO, detected any of these impacts. Even if it missed the explosions, LRO may be able to photograph the craters where it happened. So, I'll put in this. Let me see. Just released. Okay. Here's the latest NASA flyby. And we'll see that. Okay, I'll put it in chat for you. www.nasa.gov/gallery/lunar-flyby// right? All right, so that's the latest. If you're looking for those and you hear the sound of my voice, pretty cool stuff. Really interesting images. It just proof that the moon is still protecting our monkey ass, right? Go figure. Yeah, I know, right, Luke? Yeah. I have no faith in these evil sons of bitches that need to be put down, vaporized. You're just a warmonger. Fungu you. I hate these Iranian. These not even Iranians. They're just evil people. And I was talking with my wife just the other day, and we were talking about a particular Jewish king that in history, he was told to wipe every single one of them out, and he didn't. And as a result, there's always a thorn in the flesh. Yeah. So I think every one of these sons of bitches from the IRGC needs to be vaporized. Well, back to what we're talking about here. A naked eye comet is coming. What? I mean, it's a big eye that's naked? Man, how do you have a naked eye? It's a non-sunglassed eye? What do you call them? Contact eye? A big eye flying through space? Yeah. Astronomers who were disappointed in April 4th when the Sungrazer comet disintegrated into the sun forgot about another comet that's even better. Yeah, let me show you. This is what happened a little while back, all right? Just a couple of days. And I reported on this. And you'll see the Sungrazer comet. Well, guess what? It vaporized as it went into the sun. They never went out the other side. I was like, wait, I thought it was just going to go by. Nope. It burned up as it went into the sun just a few days ago. So pretty far out show that we had. And pretty cool stuff. And back when the solar wind was at 520, you know, yeah. Let's see what else we got going on. Right now, there was only one fireball last night. Class M chance is 35%, and Class X is 10. There is a slew of sunspots that are leaving our vicinity. There's one coming in, 4414, and we don't know much about it yet. But all of them, so far, all the sunspots are magnetically stable. That means the positives and the negatives aren't jostling or switching sides. And so that's okay. The KP is at 3 and under, so really chill right there. We're supposed to get a little solar wind today and tomorrow, but right now it's at 388. Let me see if there's any rocks out there. On the 8th, yeah, there's no rocks today to report, so there'll be one tomorrow. Nothing to worry about, Slim. Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at the solar wind for you. You want to look at the solar wind, don't you? There you go. Here's the solar wind, right? It's just barely pushing, and you can see 380. The dynamic pressure is low. Proton density is super low. The BZ, right about 0. Again, this is a little bit of respite time. As you probably have picked up on the fact that I'm not having to report too much anymore. There'll be spurts where, yeah, it's a little bit, and then it just dies out again. The sun is going on to its quieter side. It's waning its intensity. So that's all good, you know. However, generally speaking, I think we've had a few 8s. Maybe I can let me look at it here real quick. Let me see. There we go. I'll tell you. Since 20, I think this one started in 20, our solar cycle. In 21, we had 3 8s, right? Let's see what happened in 25. 1 8. All right. So generally the peak of the solar cycle doesn't produce the 8s. Now leading up to it, from 2015 we had 1, 2017 we had 1, 18 we had 1, 19 we had 1. Then 2020, when our solar cycle began, in earnest, I should say, we had 0. But 21 we had 3, and then nothing since. And then 25 we had 1. Don't believe we had 1 this year, have we? No, we have not. So, although the 7s and above, this year we've already had 4, and of those 4, the last 3 weeks there were 3 of them, or 4 weeks there were 3 of them. It's like bang, 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 right? And so last year, all of last year, we had 15 7s. In 24 we had 10. In 23 we had 19. In 22 we had 11. In 21 we had 16, and in 20 we had 9. And then Ridgecrest of 2019, that year was a 9 as well. So all of those you can see. In 2016 we had 16, and 17 we had 6, and 18 we had 16, and 19 was a 9. Okay, just to keep it all, clear with you. 6.0 to 6.9, right? Those other ones that I talked about were 7.0 to 7.9s. 6.0 to 6.9s, this year we've had 34. And we're January, February, March, April. We're into the first quarter, almost ending the first quarter. And on average, well over 100 have taken place. And in 16 we had 131, 17 104, 18 117, 19 135, 20 we had 112, 21 we had 138, 22 we had 116, 23 128, 24 we had 89, and then 25 we had 129. Thus far in this quarter, we have 34. So the first quarter is, let's say, 30. How many are we expecting to see then this year if this trend continues? Well, that'd be 120, and that's kind of the average. On the 5.0 to 5.9s, the average ranges from a low in 2020 of 1329 to a high of in 21 of 2070. So somewhere in between there, let's say 1600, right? So 1516, 1417, 1618, 19 was 1500, 22 was 1600, 23 was 1600, 24 was 1400, and 25 was 1900. Thus far, we have 394. Average that up, if the quarter stays the same and it averages all the way out, we're looking at 1,200. That's kind of low. So just by taking the number of 8s, the number of 7s, 7.9, the 6s of 6 to 6.9, and the 5s of 5 to 5.9, we're kind of on the lower side of the number of quakes. All right? Just averaging out. And last year, it was a better, more earthquakes. Not better, really, because really we don't want earthquakes. But they happen. 24 was a very mild year. Very, very, very mild year. Only 27s, or 10 sevens and 89 6s, and 1,400 5s. So that's 24. That's like 10, 20% lower than all the other years. And that's going back to 2016, the last 10 years. Kind of odd, I think. In 2026 so far, let me see, what are the larger ones here? We've had a Tonga of 7.5, and Indonesia a 7.4. Vanuatu had a 7.3, and Malaysia had a 7. So that was February for the 7, March was the 7.3, April 1st was a 7.4, and March 24th was a 7.5. Now those numbers get bounced around because it started as a 7.8 and went all the way down to a 7.4, and then a 7.6 dropped down to a 7.3. So a little bit of subject matter in there, or subjective thinking, but these scientists say what they say, and that's who we have to discuss, right? So what are we to think about having the first quarter nearly completed? This month will be the completion of the first quarter. Kind of a mild time. So when we're looking at earthquakes, I think it behooves us to kind of see the trend, and that the energy and the creative processes that the whole mechanism of earthquakes should kind of tell us what's going on, right? And looking at the solar events, I'm going to ask the question, how many solar events, right? How many CMEs have happened per year since 2016. CME scorecard right there. CME activity was relatively lower, with the minimum occurring in 2019. In 20 to 23, the phase of solar cycle 25 increased significantly. In 23, multiple CMEs regularly observed, including major events such as in November of 23. We talked about that. That's when we had some X's going on, right? 25 to 26, it was highlighted by a peak month of activity with frequent M's and X class flares, producing associated CMEs. Let me see if I can see here. I think I'm going to save this link here. Sorry, hold on a second. Daily, there we go. Okay, that's not. It's too technical for for us. Near the maximum of over 100 or 1,000 CMEs annually, similarly to 1,500 plus events recorded in the peak previous cycles that we've had. 23 to 26 was the peak, right? We're still in the peak on the waning side of it. Coronal mass ejections frequently are tied to the or frequency are tied to the 11-year solar cycle. At a solar maximum, CMEs occur about 2 to 3 times per day, while at solar minimum, they occur roughly once every 5 days. So, what are we expecting? What are we trying to project by saying this? Looking at the sun right now, in the chronograph right here, LASCO 2, watching the sun at a zoomed in view. There's a little blast. There's one. Comes right at us. It's a small one, but still activity is coming from the sun. Looking at a long distance one in LASCO 3. There it is right there. So it's not particularly strong. We look at the predictive value, and you can see the plasma on the top, the solar wind on the bottom. Expected to have a little peak of plasma on about the 11th peak value, and that should only be maybe 7 protons per cubic meter, centimeters that is. And the radial velocity of the sun, you can see there's some solar wind right there, peaking at on the 12th. All right, so here's the predictive value from NOAA. And a little bit of plasma will come in on the 5th, and will continue with solar wind until probably the 13th. The plasma will drop off significantly back to 1 or 2, and that's kind of how it works for us. Looking at the KP, you can see this is the planetary K index, is about the solar energy zooming back at our planet. So not a whole lot happening at the moment. And this is a good thing, man. Here's the solar flares. You can see we just had an M, or almost an M, a C 8.9, just as I was talking. All right, that just say hello. You know, here's the 6 hour. Yeah, right below it. Bam! Something just kicked out there. Now, that could give us something. You know, it could have been a filament that launched a CME at us and all the like. We won't know that for a little bit of time. It's still too early. This peak of this happened at 1543. We're at 1700 right now, so, or 1600 hours. Okay, so not a whole lot going on. looking at, you can see the more blue we have, more protons. There's just not a whole lot buffeting our planet. The red would see more activity of pressure on our planet to kind of move the plates, if you would, kind of like you put two magnets on your desk, and you try to put them together, and if they're the same polarity, they kind of move, but if they're opposite polarity, they attract. Kind of like what happens in our atmosphere with the sun. The sun pops off helium and hydrogen particles that are ionized, either positive or negative, at our planet, or just outward, and then our planet comes into contact with it. And our a magneto pause, our big giant magnet that's at the core of our planet that's spinning. It has an electromagnetic current that runs through our whole bodies and frequencies and around our planet to protect us from anything outside. And that's why it takes 17,000 miles an hour to get out of our planet's atmosphere. Yeah. And Saturday, the rocket ship will be landing in the ocean somewhere. And we'll see how that works out. The ones that went around the moon, they're on their way back. Not a whole lot of pressure being buffeted by the sun on our planet right now. Kind of quiet. So giving you all this information that I'm trying to, looking at the ground magnetics, nothing is really perturbing the ground magnetically right now. Giving you all this information, the number of earthquakes, the number of solars, coronal mass ejections, CMEs, and the history of the last 10 years. What I was trying to get at is there's no real indicator for us to say that a peak time of solar activity creates massive earthquakes. Just the opposite. In the lower side of things, a lot of earthquakes happen. If we were peaking from 23 to 26, although 23 we had 19 sevens, from 26 to 21, 3 years had 16, and 3 years had either 6 or 9 sevens. So the peak is really no indicator. I think what's more of an indicator would be X flares. And over the last 10 years, roughly from 26 to 16, X flares occurred with increasingly frequency, peaking significantly in 24 and early 26 as the sun reached its maximum apex. The flare hit on highs intensities, right? Let me see how many. 2018 to 2021, there was a low due to a solar minimum. In 26 February, we had an X 8.3, make it one of the strongest in years. In 24, we saw a record number of X flares, surpassing even the records of 2001, 3, 5, and 14. So, and let's see here. These guys have top 50 solar flares. In 2003, we had an X40 plus. Yeah, an X40. In 2001, we had an X28. In 2003, we had an X24. In 2005, we had an X14. In 2001, we had an X20. And in 2003, again, an X14. In 17, we had an X13. And then we go back to 97, we had an X12. 2006, we had an X12. 2003, we had an X11. So even on the top 50, 2024 was an X8, and that's number 18 on the top 50. So particularly strong was in 2003 on a previous solar cycle. This solar cycle, I think, was not necessarily powerful, but it had some, right? We had that X, 8 or whatever it was. Well, there you have it. So, 2003, I don't even have how many things happened in 2000. Let me see. In 2003, we had 1 8, 14 7s, 139 6s, and 1,200 5s. Kind of an average, middle of the road year for earthquakes. Can we deduce that that's what was going on? That the Tokachi earthquake of 8.3 of Japan, which caused relatively moderate damage and few fatalities. That was the big one. Extremely deadly year, though, for seismicity. 15 major earthquakes, killing 37,000 people in 2003. So, particularly X flares and deaths are pretty, common there. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. The magnetics that we have right now are nominal. Very, very nothing. Or what average, like a normal day. We saw that's the ground magnetics. And Earth. Looking at the tremors that happened in the Pacific Northwest, we saw a few yesterday, right? Look at it's still here in Central Cal. Moving where? All right, here's Shasta, Mount Shasta right there. Kind of right here in the Trinity National Forest. Vibrations happen there. Now, we also know that there's a big, there's a plate back. A big plate, missing plate that's right here. It's a big hole right here. The San Andreas comes up here and then turns out here, right? So there's no plate here. So why are the vibrations happening? Well, those are happening at small energy, 1.2 energy, and it doesn't tell me the depth, but I think we can look at the depths. Filter. We used to be able to look at the depths. Not anymore, I guess. Oh. There's 456 vibrations yesterday. All right. Well, here's the depths. Here's the heat map. So right there is the concentrated of heat. the contours of the plate. This is the subducting plate boundary, right? I guess the hole's down here by Fort Bragg. So those are the seismometers that are picking it up. So that's interesting that this is happening here. I don't think it's natural, but we can go here, go to here and look at that same region and push play. I don't see any. I'll go 200 now. See if we see any vibrations up there creating heat. Not seeing any. All right, let's look at natural color. Natural color fire. Yeah, I don't see any heat signatures out here. So, hey, disaster preparedness, what, Pasadena or something? Hi, Denise. Yeah, I'm going to have steak today, too. I've got to go to a men's meeting. I'm going to a men's meeting anyway. Over here. Wow, big storm off the coast of Cali. Wow. Let's look at the dirty. And not a whole lot there, right? Upper level, we're supposed to get heat again. And that's what we're looking at. A lower level. Yeah, moving in. Yeah. And then it's supposed to cool down right after. So this pushing down. Big blast coming out of the Gulf of Alaska, pummeling Vancouver in BC. Big storm going across just north of my brother, Luke. And looks like Montana got hit a little bit. He might have got a little bit of rain. Strong weather passing through his area. Wow. Got a low pressure there, Luke, right over you. What's your weather look like over there? Everything's melting, he says. Yeah, big ridge of high pressure over southwest right now. Looking at windy. Zooming on out. Radar. Shanghai getting banged or bolted and stuff. Doo-doo. What happened now? The Social Security now will be called federal benefit payment. Oh. I'm for it because it touches a nerve with me. I hope it'll help you. Please keep pressing it until everyone in the country has read it. The government is now referring to Social Security checks as federal benefit payments. This isn't a benefit. You paid into it, everybody. Not only did we all contribute to it, but it's total 15% of our income before taxes. If you average $30K a year, your working life that close to $180,000 invested in Social Security. If you calculate the future value of your monthly investment in Social Security as $375 a month, including both you and your employer's contributions at a meager 1% interest rate, compounded monthly after 40 years of working, you would have more than $1.3 million saved. This is your personal investment. Upon retirement, if you only took 3% per year, you'd receive $39,000 a year, or $3,200 in paychecks. That's almost 3 times more than today's average Social Security benefit of $1,200, according to the Social Security Administration. And your retirement fund would last more than 33 years, or until you're 98, retired at 65. I can only imagine how much better most average income people could live in retirement if our government had just invested our money in low-risk, interest-earning accounts. Instead, the folks at Washington pulled off the biggest Ponzi scheme in the world, and Bernie Madoff is happy. They took our money and used it elsewhere. They forgot, and they knew that it was our money they were taking. They didn't have to have a referendum to ask us if we wanted to lend them the money. They just took it. But it's all our fault they misused our investment? Is it? Really? And now, to add insult to injury, they're calling it a benefit. As if we didn't work to earn every penny of it. Well, just because they borrowed the money doesn't mean our investments were a charity. Let's take a stand, have earned our rights to Social Security and Medicare, demand that our legislators bring some sense into our government and find a way to keep Social Security and Medicare going for the sake of 92% of our population who need it. 92%? They call it what it is, earned retirement income. Then call it earned retirement income. 99% of people won't cut and paste this. So I'm telling you vocally. So they're going to change the name of it to federal benefit payment. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right?
I don't know if I'm
Yeah. Well, and Monday was Luke and his wife's anniversary, and he looks different with a lot of hair, but he's a good man, and I love him, and I said a happy anniversary, and he's my boy. Yep, my road dog, and I love the guy. So if you have a chance and you see him online, tell him, happy wedding anniversary. His birthday's not until May 30th, so. But anyway. Yeah.
Artemis 2 mission.
Anyway, we're looking at that. Somebody was texting me something important, and if you're, I don't have Social Security, so ain't gonna happen for me. Snow down in the south. Lots of weather right offshore here. It's going north. Oh, let's look at this storm index. Storm index, Kansas, and slight chance moving up into Wisconsin. A little slight chance in Florida and California and the Oregon border. So that's where the stuff is happening. Marginal chance at best. Critical fire weather though. So South Carolina, eastern and central Georgia. There was a fire yesterday in Cali, but some guy set that one on fire. you know, yeah, they called it arson. So, yeah. What else we got going on? Let's go ahead and look at volcano news today. According to Volcano Discovery, Fuego, Simiru, Shivalush, Ibu, Dacono, Ravetador, Mayon, and Sangay. Shivalush has been popping on and off. Sakurajima, the bottom of Japan, 9,000. It's like a 4,300 foot mountain. Shivalush been popping off 30,000 and around there. I don't know what it's going to be doing, but we'll see. Sangay, it's happening there in Ecuador. It's a little bumpity bump. Ibu still doing 7,000 over there on Ibu. And Dacono the same. Sabancaya, it's only steam and gas, coming right out of that there in the armpit of South America, bottom of Peru. Shivalush, 26,000 feet. It's a 10,000 foot mountain, but it has a dome that popped off here not too long ago. And when it comes to that person, they took off. They left for greener pastures. Possible emissions in Reventador. Yeah, I know. Whatever. 15,000 feet out of Simiru, which is normal for it in Indonesia. This is Java. Mayon, Central Philippines, 10,000 feet. Well, it's 9,000 foot mountain. So, Fuego, 14,000. That's normal. Dacono, 10,000 feet out of Dacono. Ibu did 7. Dacono's down doing 10. Vice versa. Dacono's a little shorter mountain. This is where the 7.8 happened offshore. They got downgraded to a 7.4. Yeah. Sangay, 21,000 out of a 17 and change there in Ecuador, just south of Colombia. White Island volcano, New Zealand, no eruptive activity over the past period, so it's chilling out. Okay. But New Zealand has had some earthquakes moving in from the Kermitics. Sabancaya, 22,000. It's a 19,000 already. Reventador from 11 to 14. Mayon, 8,000, and it's already right there, that same height. And Simiru, there you have it. So that's today's volcanic news. Starting with Mexico earthquakes. Let's go ahead and see what Mexico has to say. There we go. Strong up here by the San Felipe Gap the last couple of days. Colima has some activity also off land here, you see. Down by Acapulco and Guerrero, right? This is Michoacan. It says Jalisco, Colima, Michoacan, Guerrero, Oaxaca, and in Chiapas, all right? So Guerrero seems to have the lion majority of it right here by Acapulco. And if you go south a little bit more on the point, you get some activity, stronger activity from 4 and below right in there. Like Colima, had a 4 as well. And then we have in Chiapas, we have a 4 as well. So 4 is moving up the coast. 3 is bouncing all the way into Veracruz from Oaxaca. This is kind of where I think Mexico is actually trying to break free, Yeah. um, yeah, you know, fucktards. Here's Canadians earthquakes right now. This is the last 30 days. Obviously, a little stronger earthquake right here, a 5.0 that took place on the 8th, which is today. So a 5.0 near Whitehorse, but it's in BC. That's a strong quake. You can see a line of quakes here, a line of quakes here, and a line of quakes here. Activity seems to move in this way. Coming out of the Yukon, right up in here was the 7 that took place, and now we have a 5 here a couple months later, right? And activity moving up, and then it makes a left-hand turn coming from the north, left-hand turn going across Vancouver Island. It doesn't continue down. Kind of odd. Just wanted you to be aware before we touched on the USGS, and I'll set that up here, terrain, and you can see. So right now, off the coast of Oregon, we've got a 4.0. We did have that 5 up here. There's a 3.5 there. Up in here is a 2.5. I don't know why they don't show the 5 up there. California, Susanville had a 2.5. And then down in Los Angeles, Castaic Lake 2.7. Then over in Texas is a 3.4. Timmy reported this one here. This 4.8 got downgraded already. So 4.8 power moving across the North American plate. And as it reaches the Caribbean plate, we have a 4.2 and a 4.0. Maybe these pushed that one, or vice versa, making room for another one to pop. Over in the across on the western side of the Pacific, Fiji popping with a 4.0 at 567 depth, and another one, 4.3 at 538 depth. And then over in Tonga, not Tonga, but New Caledonia and Vanuatu, right? Tonga's out here. 5.1 at 10 kilometers took place yesterday. And then this one is a 5.0 that took place today, and that's the Solomon Islands, 10 kilometers depth. So this made room for this to pop. So that's how it works. Room's made, and then it all slides, right? In Japan, these are all part of Japan. 4.7 and a 4.7, bang bang. Also in by Hiroshima, 3.2. Then over in the Bonin Islands, 4.7 at 10 kilometers in depth. And then, of course, we talked about this one yesterday, a 4.6 up in northern Japan, and the Kurils saying hello with a 4.4. So it seems to be mid-4s moving all the way down into Fiji. Okay, going the opposite way into the Jika stands, into the stands, 4.3 and 4.4, and over just north of Tehran and the Azerbaijan, 5.6. So the men talk, and then the women talk, and then even all the way out in Greece, moving all the way up, we have a 4.8 that just happened this morning, not too long ago. That's normal. That's our normal activity. Of course, we have all the activity up in Alaska, a bunch of smallies, and in even in Hawaii, 3.0. 3.0 in Alaska. See, activity here and in through here and in here. So plate moving in that direction, all around that area is getting bumped, making itself known. What what else we can do? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's 9:28 here in the West, and we've looked at Canada, Mexico, and the like. And when there's not a whole lot of information being put, it's kind of hard to, continue with it. And, we'll see how it all works out. So big hugs to y'all. Don't get none on you. And I'll be out most of the day at the men's meeting. So I have some responsibility there. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel over here on twitch.tv/JoeSlickLive. Over there on YouTube, you can just subscribe there as well. I'll try to keep posting these morning reports there. If you want to leave a gratuity, it's www.streamelements.com/JoeSlickLive/TIP/. So I appreciate your gratuities, and they help me keep it all together. And, do some more special things for y'all. Big hugs, y'all. Remember, don't get none on you. I'm Joe, and it's time for me to go, I guess. And remember, Luke Clemmer this Saturday or Friday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time on Walleye_King at Twitch, on Twitch, sorry. And Friday, our show, yeah. See, it didn't play. There we go. We try to do everything good on Fridays, don't we? Yeah. Remember. Love y'all.
Woke up this morning feeling kind of tight. Sun is shining, it's a tasty delight. Put my boots on, gotta hit the street. Got one thing on my mind, man, gotta eat. Grab my keys, head out the door. It's Friday night, I can't ignore. Gonna get that meat, thick and bold. Ain't nothing like a steak that's perfectly grilled. Get to the store, it's that time again. Get to the butcher, let the grilling begin. Get to the rancher, can't let it slide because it's Steak Friday, bitches. Let's ride. Cruising down the avenue, feeling real good. Hunger in my belly, wish you understood. Steaks on my mind, sizzling right. Ain't nothing like beef to make my night. Walk into the store, the smell is divine. Meat hanging low, oh Lord, it's prime. Picking out the cuts that make me swoon. Bring on the grill, let's make it noon. Get to the store, bring the flavor alive. Get to the butcher, where the magic thrives. Get to the rancher, can't let it slide because it's Steak Friday, bitches, let's ride. Sizzling on the grill, hear that crackling sound. Juices dripping down, oh glory bound. Seasoned just right with a pinch of spice. Every single bite feels so nice. Friends gathered round, drinks in the air. With each tasty steak we having a carol. Blues tunes playing, music so sweet. Celebrating the day we get to eat. Strong beef on our plates, we can't go wrong. From ribeyes to tenderloins, we got it all. Once we start grilling, we're having a ball. So raise your glass and join the cheer, for steak is our reason, oh my dear. Let the flames roll, let the good times roll. Steak Friday magic filling up our souls.
Gotta tell you about it.
It's that time again. Get to the butcher, let the grilling begin. Get to the ranch.
No time to waste. So prepare this Friday for a Steak Friday celebration. And we'll start that off about 5 p.m. and here in the West. And look forward to seeing you. Remember, don't get none on you. And I love you. Yeah. Yeah, that's just a reminder of this Friday we have Steak Friday. We have Steak Friday every Friday. And it can be a fish steak. It can be a pork chop steak. It can be, food. The main point is to be thankful that you made it through the week and you can celebrate for the weekend and remember where you came and where you went through the whole week and celebrate with your family, whether it be the JSL family or your own personal family. Have a good attitude, and tell somebody you love them and embrace them. So love you. Talk to you soon. And remember, don't get none on you again. I keep telling you, don't get none on you. Bye for now.